The sun beaming through these white blinds.
All right. I think we're all set now. Peace. Welcome back to another episode of What is the Love Above? Today's episode, I'm going to be covering another song from the album, Just to Hit a Lick. On the album, though, it's J.T.H.A.L, an acronym that I created to shorten the title and also just make it kind of stand out a little bit visually. So let's start with the verse, and then from there I'll tell you a little bit of backstory about the song. The sun beaming through these white blinds as the white smoke rises slowly above my mind, looking high above the sky, prepping for a nosedive, head first into this loop I made, and it took no time, no clocks on that thing ticking is the stove top. Way I work the stainless steel, whipping it with no stops, roadblocks, how I build the world in a cold box, black Honda sitting in the lot with the doors locked. Listen as the pen slowly drifts, racing down these black and white lines on the strip. How could I ever waste this gift that God gave me just to hit a lick? Only writing rhymes for a hit, gotta get 'em hooked as if this was a brick. How could I ever waste this gift that God gave me just to hit a lick? And shout outs to Mooney. She accompanied me on the chorus. Interesting enough, when I wrote that song and I looped the beat up, it was in a time period where I was going through a lot of emotional turmoil and stress. We're in December 2025 right now, and literally last year, I got in a car accident. I was hit by a USPS vehicle, and basically, long story short, he was trying to merge into a lane to get across the street, didn't see me. It was in a big vans, so their vision is kind of, a little off, sight of vision. But anyways, my lawyers are still working that out a year later. And I went through a long process of grief because that vehicle that I lost, I worked really hard for. I paid cash for it. R.I.P. Pegasus. That's the name of the car. I worked really hard. I was working at a warehouse in Roy City called Dust Free. And man, many hours, a lot of labor. And I paid like 4 G's for that car. And now it's worth more than that, but that's if it was in good condition. So basically, when that happened, I had to figure out what I was going to do. After getting the total loss evaluation, basically I had I think 7 days to give the car back. They gave me a rental because I had pretty good insurance. And I think they only gave me 4 days, if I'm not mistaken. But basically, within 4 days, I had to figure out okay, I could either keep this basically I think it was a Kia. I had to keep that for $40 or $50 a day, something like that, which isn't bad, or get another vehicle in that time period with the total loss evaluation. They gave me a couple G's back. And then, of course, bills and all these things come into play. So I really only had a G and change to work with. And I was like, yo, I need to hit a lick within a certain time period in order to get a car, in order to get back and forth to work, provide for my crib, take care of my girl, take care of myself, keep food in the fridge. And winter is coming.
And
Shout out to Game of Thrones fans.
Because they are the
Winter
nights of
is
summer.
coming.
Winter is coming.
And so I'm freaking out. How am I going to do this? I don't gamble. I don't, run around in the streets and I don't put myself in positions where I have to look over my shoulder, whether it be for the law, whether it be for people trying to take what I got. Like, I work really hard for what I have. 12-hour shifts. I just did like 4 days this week and I did 6 days last week. So I'm grinding. And then doing this podcast is really like a therapy, but also like very, very important because I want to control the narrative for my music and for my life and for my lifestyle. So in this time period a year ago, I'm like, dude, I'm talking to my lawyer. He's like, all right, you got to go to, physical therapy, you got to get x-rays, all this, and I still got to go to work. So I ended up asking around my job and I was just like, yo, is anybody selling a car? Does anybody know a place I can buy a vehicle? I only got like a G and change to spare. It's not a lot, but I need something now. So I ended up talking to Osman, who used to work at my job. Shout out Osman. And yeah, man, he sold me this Honda for $700, and it had like over 200,000 miles. I don't, no shade, but the man didn't take that good care of the car. But at the end of the day, it was a blessing because I needed to get to work and I needed to take care of my crib. And, in this time period, I didn't care. I genuinely didn't care. And some people would say, oh, why would you buy a lemon? You should have got a lease. But I didn't have money for a lease. My crib is 2 G's. I didn't have money for no lease, dog. And I kept trying to explain that to people, and it seemed like, it didn't click. But anyways, in this moment, I'm thinking, should I sell some beats? Should I make a TikTok and do the whole TikTok thing? And that's not my thing, y'all. I don't like posturing or following trends and shout outs to the people that can do all that. I'm 34 years old. I'm not about to jump in front of a camera and do the sing and dance thing to get engagement. Like, I'm cool on that. I'd rather do this podcast. It reaches who it reaches when it reaches. And at the end of the day, I'm just telling my story. So I'm depressed. I'm going through it. I get this Honda. It is what it is. I fix it up as much as I can. It lasts for about a couple months. And in that time period, I wrote this song. So I chopped the beat up. Here's the sample. Shout outs to Bad Bad Not Good. Incredible band. And I've been following them since 2012 or 2011, back when they had their Bad Bad Not Good series where they would do covers, and they did a Tyler the Creator series, and they actually had Tyler the Creator on one of the videos. I believe they did the song Fish, I want to say. And you see Tyler playing the keys in it. It's a very wholesome, really cool video. Hopefully it's still on YouTube. If it is, I'll clip it up. And I sampled them, chopped it up. I had to fade in the chop because the cymbal that is like a crash cymbal, it's so loud in the original song that I knew for a fact the ears, it would be unsettling to the ears if I just kept looping that. So I had to fade the cymbal, which was in the beginning of the loop, and then take down the high end. So I made a whole plugin just for this loop, and I'll clip that in here as well so you can see a little bit of what I did to it. But basically I had to take the low end up, take the high end down, and it's still kind of distorted just a little bit, but not too bad to the point where, it sucks. But anyways, after looping it and manipulating the sound to make it sound better, I started writing to it, and I just described where I was in the time period. So, the sun beaming through these white blinds as the white smoke rises slowly above my mind, looking high above the sky, prepping for a nosedive, head first into this loop I made, and it took no time. No clocks, only thing ticking is the stovetop, because I love to cook. I love to cook. If you watch me and you follow me, you clearly see that. Only thing clicking is the stovetop. Way I work the stainless steel, whipping it with no stops. Roadblocks. Reference to the video game. How I build a world in a cold box. Black Honda sitting in the lot with the doors locked. And when I actually recorded the vocals, I was in that Honda. So I had this mic connected to my phone and basically vocal isolator, which basically like went over the mic, and then I put that in the steering wheel because, you know, when you're in a car, it's a very closed setting. And if you're in a quiet space, you can get really clean, crisp vocals that way. Pro tip. So recorded the vocals, mixed it in the car, and basically just layered it up and did a lot of little magic tricks in there. But yeah, man, it was one of those things where I wanted to capture the moment in the time period, and also reflect. The way I write, I like to paint a picture for my audience. And so I'm in a moment of reflection because, yeah, I could hit a lick, but then what comes with that lick? Is there going to be anxiety? Is there going to be a compromise of integrity? And when you hit a lick, sometimes you hit a lick and get off scot-free, and sometimes you hit a lick and you're worried for a little while, right? And I didn't want to do anything that would jeopardize not only my business or my brand or my life, but also the integrity of my music. I don't make this music to go viral or to keep up with the trends of today or to compete with the XXL freshman class. I'm an independent artist. I run my own distribution. I see all my analytics. I run my publishing. I get 2 checks for everything I do because I'm the writer and the producer, and I publish it all. So no matter what, whenever the time comes for the value of or whatever, and wherever it gets valued at in the world or in life, for right now, I'm just documenting where I am as a 33, about to be 34-year-old man. And so just to hit a lick is just a full spectrum reflection of what that time period was for me, where my mind state was. And man, to be honest with you, it's like I didn't want to devalue myself or my craft just to hit a lick. God gave me this voice, the ability to produce, the ability to manipulate sound and basically push out something that inspires many different people. Why take all of that just to hit a lick? So I'm asking myself in that song, you know, and every time I hear it, now I think about it. Like before I do something, like, what is this going to cost me? And if I do this or go through with this, then later on, am I going to regret it? You know, and for what? Just to hit a lick? And a lot of people in this world take risks and take chances, and you know, sometimes trust me, I know that I'm not perfect, and I've made plenty of mistakes in the past just to hit a lick. And it was like, dude, for what? You know, there's certain people at certain companies and businesses and brands that I've either worked with, worked for, or still work with. And the last thing I want is for somebody to be like, you know what I mean? Like, nah, I want to make sure that I do right by people. I do right by myself. I do right by this brand. And that's why I started this series, What is the Love Above? Because when you see a word or a title, the first thing you ask is, what is that? So in my mind, I'm pushing the love above every day, every week. And some people are like, yo, what is the love above? Like, for real, what is this? Because that's the natural thing to do. You ask a question. And so that's why I posed it as a question in the title. So that way, when people do go and do their research and they go on YouTube and they find the playlist that I made with all the episodes from 1 to now, that gets them a lot more context into the artist, the creative, the man behind what you're hearing and seeing whenever you're watching this. And I hope that this podcast not only inspires the people that watches it, which it's doing some great things right now, but I also want people to talk about their music as well, or talk about their art, or talk about their business. And it doesn't take a big grandiose, squad. I'm doing it all myself, all the editing, all the shooting, and I'm pushing it with the following that I have. I'm not expecting instant results or a whole bunch of numbers to come in out of nowhere. I want a real audience. This is for the real people that genuinely follow me and respect me. This is for y'all. This isn't for the whole ether. Yeah. I have a select audience, and I want that select audience to consistently be fed. So now that the plane is flying over, I know that it's what time it is. It's time to wrap it up. I try to do this content early in the morning so that way I don't have to deal with air traffic and all the other external sounds going on in the world. Just a conversation between you and I. So I hope that you liked this video. I hope it gave more context to the song. And I hope I didn't ramble too much. But either way, my name is Nimbus, and this is What is the Love Above. Until next time, peace. Have a good day.